So this is what it looks like on the inside. First thing you log in, you'll see a introduction video with Russell Brunson. And there are information, like on how to create an FLV file, how to upload the file to your web hosting company, whether you use Amazon S3 service or whether you use servant.net. Now, you do need an FLV file because what it's going to do is Live Webinar Replay has their own players, so it'll embed your FLV file. So it's really step-by-step process here. It's really easy to use, and that's why I have chose Live Webinar Replay, and it's very, very easy to use. So let's say, for example, that you do have your FLV file in hand. You've uploaded the file to Amazon or your web hosting. Now it's time to set up your webinar. Setting up your webinar is actually very, very easy to do. All you have to do is click on My Webinars and then click on Add a Webinar. Adding a webinar is very easy. So what we want to do is you want to name the webinar. It's called Pre-Launch Webinar Number 1. Then you want the duration of the webinar itself. Let's say, for example, the webinar is 60 minutes. So we'll just do 1 hour and 0 minutes. Then what you want to do is you want to enter the video file location here. So let's say, for example, that my file is located here. So let's say that's the FLV file here. Now you need to enter a triggered event. Triggered event basically means that there's an action that would be performed while the webinar is displaying. So, for example, let's say that you want a sales button to appear right below the webinar. You can do that. In fact, if you click on yes, you can enter the trigger event. So you could enter the URL of where the button will go in a label. So let's say, for example, that say something like buy it now for 50% off or something, or 75% off for the next 10 minutes. Of course, okay, that's a label. Put it the wrong place. So the label needs to go here and the URL needs to go here. So let's say, for example, that I am selling a product and let's say we'll do this. So you have your URL and then you have your label here. And then right here it says at this time. Basically what that means is, when is this triggered event going to appear? Well, in this case, the trigger event is going to appear because it's 1 hour. I want it to appear, let's say, somewhere at the end. So we're going to say 0 hours and 50 minutes. So 10 minutes before it ends, it's going to appear. That way I can do my pitch, or let's say, to be safe, 45 minutes. This is how long to show the event. And you can put whatever number you want there as well. And this specific event. So let's say that I only want it to appear for 15 minutes. Once you're done with that, the next thing you need to do is just tell Live Webinar Replay when you want the webinar to replay. So first things first, let's click on this. Today is February 11th, but let's say, for example, that I want it to do a replay on Friday next week on the 18th at, let's say, something like 7 or 8 or 9 p.m. And you got to remember, if you're dealing with Eastern time, you've got to remember about people in Central and Pacific time and the rest of the world. So you got to keep in mind, who is your audience? Once I'm done with that, another thing I could do, let's say I want to make it recur, as you can see, recurring. What you could do is add another webinar showing. So this one goes for next week, Friday 18th at 9 p.m. And I click recurring. and beginning date is going to be, let's say, 25th. And then the end date, let's say I want to have it go for like a year until next February. So I can do that and have it replay on every Friday, official time at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Once I'm done with that, click on Save. That's it. It's so easy to use. In fact, once you're done, you can click on this and it'll give you a replay link here. You could choose a video size if you want to make it smaller or so forth. Now, I recommend that if you make a webinar that you make the FLV 640 by 480 or 320 by 240. But the bigger it is, when you squeeze it down, the quality will stay the same. Now, this code will allow you to enter it on your blog, enter it on your website so that people can go and check it out. Now, I'm going to go to this link, the replay link here. And as you can see, since we set the webinar replay to play next week, exactly in 7 days, whenever you send this to somebody through your autoresponder or whatever, they will see, okay, 6 days and 6 hours, 42 minutes and 27 seconds, the webinar will be live. So that way people will come and view it at that given time. And the reason why webinars are so powerful in this case is because if you think about it, they're waiting to watch your webinar. It's not like you give them a video and they can watch it anytime. They have to wait for your webinar. So the fact that they wait for your webinar helps you increase conversions because they've waited for your webinar, they're excited, they watch your webinar, they get great content, then you pitch the product that you're promoting or the service that you're selling, and then you have a higher conversion rate that way. So as you can see, live webinar replay is so easy to use. All you have to do is create an FLV file, upload the file, and then go to My Webinars, click on Add Webinar, and just follow this step by step. It's just as easy as you saw.